Hi, good morning. I'm Javon Simpson, and the reason why I'm stating my name is because this response is not really only for WhatsApp itself, but I'm also thinking about posting it elsewhere because I think this needs to be heard by persons if it is that they've not heard it before. You know, what has really hit me over the last couple of days after posting a certain picture and putting a certain comment under it. I took a picture of some condoms, right? And for persons that know me personally, they know that I am somebody that loves to discuss social issues, right? So I'm somebody that will do something just to get a reaction out of you. And the thing that I do, I might not agree with it, or I might agree with it, but I might do it nevertheless just to get a response out of persons. Because I believe that's what psychology and counseling is all about, getting a response out of a person and trying to address that sort of response that they've given, for whatever reason. So let me state, I took pictures of some condoms, right, and I placed it as my display picture on WhatsApp. However, persons readily messaged me, not to say anything bad or anything like that. Well, at first, I received messages such as, and just to be exact, I won't be stating anybody's name because y'all are my friends really and truly. But at the same time, I believe that there's a misunderstanding or there is just a misconception of things that are happening in our society, and we tend to turn a blind eye to it or tend to not want to know much more about it. And I'm here to really and truly correct that because it doesn't really make any sense. We're in society and we live, whether as Christians or non-Christians, and we choose not to understand certain things that are happening in society because we claim that we're a part, we're different, and we're not a part of it really and truly, but we need to be aware of it at least. I placed the condoms there just to evoke some responses from persons, and that's just me. Persons that know me personally know that that's just me, right? So after placing the picture as my DP, somebody commented and say condoms, and the person was like, condoms. So I was like, yes, for who it may concern, which means then is that what it means exactly is that I'm trying to bring an awareness, that there are condoms still available, still being distributed for persons to use, whether married or unmarried. I'm totally against married. I'm totally against having sex out of marriage, right? Simply because my belief system states that, right? My faith goes along with that belief as well, with that opinion as well. And if you know me, then you know that I'm always a person speaking out as to whether or not, as to why some persons aren't ready for sex. If you know me personally, if you know me well enough, then you know that's just me, and those are the discussions that I have on a day-to-day basis. So I placed the condoms as my display picture. Persons were reacting to it. One of the responses that I got that really touched me, and it really touched me so much that I had to do this video as soon as possible. Note, I don't even have a haircut, and I mean, I've had some issues, as it relates to my image. So, it must reach it, or you must be understanding to the fact that, hey, this must really touch me for me to do a video about it immediately. I was leaving out for work, and by the time I'm at work right now, and I just had to do the video. And just to not stretch it out too much, because the discussion will take a bit of time, and it might be that I have to do another video or something like that, but just to give an immediate response to persons that perhaps have been waiting for a response, because I didn't really respond to anybody really and truly. I was just trying to evoke more opinions or more thoughts out of them. I was just trying to get more responses out of them regarding the issue. So I placed the condoms as my display picture. I placed the condoms as my status at the time, and what my status read was this. Let me go back on it because I don't want to misquote my own self, and then persons might say, oh, I'm lying or something like that. because we tend to be misled with our opinions and thoughts very easily. So let me just state it. So I posted the condoms and I said, if you must, and I have the dots that suggest continuation, then use a condom, comma, STDs or STIs are usually faceless. Now this statement speaks to the fact that when I say if you must, I meant if it is that you feel as if you must have sex. Because despite me saying to you that, hey, you're not ready for sex, if you're between the ages of this amount and this, and between the age, or let me just give you an example. If you're between the ages of 8 and 18, right? Let me say you're not ready for sex. Let's for argument's sake, let's just say you're not ready for sex, because I really and truly believe that, you know. But if I say that to you that you're not ready for sex, I can only say to you, I can't force you to agree with me. I can't force you to abstain from sex. I can only encourage you not to have sex during that time, right? Outside of marriage at that. But at the same time, so I placed if you must for persons that feel as if they must have sex. Because you have persons out there that feel as if, hey, the flesh is stronger than anything else, you know, including the spirit. So let me just satisfy this flesh right now. Let me just gratify whatever this flesh needs right now. Let me just give it to the flesh, you know. And that's how we think at times. Even I at times think that way, you know, despite it being against my belief system and despite it being against my spiritual lifestyle. That's how I think at times. And it's something that the enemy places on us for us to be misled or misguided throughout society or throughout our time being on earth. And it might possibly lead us to a place of destruction. Not meaning after life only, as in hell or heaven. I'm speaking about even destruction while on earth. Because if it is that you're living this carefree life and having unprotected sex day in, day out, and somehow, some way, you get infected with an STI or an STD, right? And we already know the misconception that persons have about STIs and STDs. The moment they get one, oh Lord, my life done now. Oh Lord, me have nothing else to live for now. Not even my kids then, not even my family, me have nobody to live for anymore. Really and truly, that's how persons react, you know. Despite the lame, dramatic face expressions for me, come on Jamaicans, we know how persons react to hearing about HIV, hearing about AIDS, even if you say syphilis, herpes, gonorrhea, whatever it might be. The moment you mention something like that, persons start to react. Like, they start to go crazy. Like, who, me? Me I stay far from that person there. Because them have HIV, them have AIDS. Them not say HIV. Most persons wouldn't even say HIV. Most persons would say, them have AIDS. Them have the A thing there. Get me? And based on the misconception we have about those things, you know, how we stigmatize persons and discriminate against persons. Can you imagine a young person between the ages of 8 and 18 getting infected with HIV or moving past the HIV status and going to AIDS? You know, can you imagine the life of that person? That person would be thinking to themselves, hey, life done now. When in truth and in fact, their life isn't over. Because I've known persons that have lived for years. And I mean, when I say years, I mean over 20 years with the virus. If you understand what I mean. And they're living healthy just the same right now. Thanks be to God. You know, because he's the only person I can thank regarding, you know, persons living that long with the virus. And what it now speaks to is that I don't want to lose my train of thoughts here, so I'll just get back right to the point, you know. But as I said, this takes a lot of discussion because you have persons that will be misguided or be misled by some of the things that I might say, and they might jump on that point and seek to answer that point only without listening to the whole thing or without watching the whole video. But I mean, for those persons, I've already thought about you, and I've already, you know, prepared myself for the responses that you might give or will give, you know. But at the end of the day, I believe that this video is very much important. So let me get back to the point. I posted that, right? And I said that if you must, then use a condom. STDs or STIs are usually faceless. When I say then use a condom, it simply means that use a condom. You know, if you think that you must have sex, then use a condom. Whether or not you're married or not married. And just wait on it. Persons might be like, what? Married people must use condoms now? Alright then, yeah, just wait on it. Right? So I said STDs or STIs are usually faceless. When I say usually faceless, what I mean really and truly is that you cannot look on somebody on the outside and say, hey, that person has HIV, that person has AIDS, that person has herpes, that person has gonorrhea, that person is safe, that person is safe, alright, that person is safe. No, we can't do that. What we have to do is go and get tested, right? And getting tested is very much important for us to do. You know, despite what persons might think about knowing their HIV status or knowing their STI or STD status in general, it's important to know your status, right? Especially if you're somebody that stigmatizes or discriminates against persons with HIV or AIDS, all right? Gone are the days that persons have to be sexually active to be HIV positive or for the HIV to progress over to AIDS. Gone are the days for that. Gone are the days. Believe you me. My mother always say to me that, hey, remember, you know, that HIV has been on this earth for long enough for persons in my age group, and I'm currently 24, for persons in my age group to have HIV or to have AIDS without even having sex ever in their lifetime, right? So it could be that it's very much possible that they were born with the disease or born with the virus, let me say, right? And we can't look on persons that have HIV or have AIDS at this point, in this day and age. We can't look on persons and say, hey, away the man, we gonna have sex without condom for man, or we gonna have sex with a person if a man. You get me? I say, we can't do that anymore because it's far past that. Sometimes you have the issue of even persons taking drugs, using unclean needles, right? And if it is that somebody is infected with the virus and you use the same needle, you know, in a particular time after the person has finished using the needle, then it's possible that you can be infected as well. If it is that somebody is infected and they have a fresh cut, and you have a fresh cut, but some reason, somehow, both of those cut get together, you know, and the blood reaches you, there's a possibility you can get infected as well. There are many ways you can get infected, right? We know that from mother to child it's possible as well, but we know that, you know, technology has medications have progressed over the years, and now you have medications that actually, you know, fight against that specifically. So now you have infected mothers that can actually breastfeed their babies without worrying about their child being infected with the virus, you know. So gone are the days for things like that, to show you how much society has progressed through a lot of these things that are happening in our society. Yet still we have this dark mindset that, hey, if you have the virus in your life, done. No, it's completely foolishness, right? So let me get back to the point again. See, I've strayed so many times throughout this whole discussion, and we're at 13 minutes. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh. All right, so let's get into it. So the person proceeded to say, all right, so you're promoting unmarried sex now? I was like, I'm promoting unmarried sex? Mind you, I prepared myself for a question like that, because I remember posting something specifically. Like I was doing some sales for my aunt. I was supposed to get some of the income as well, right? Supposed to get a percentage of the income, and she sent some Victoria's Secrets, you know, some underwears, along with perfumes, lotions, handbags, things like that, stuff like that. And because persons, as I say again, if persons know me well enough, they know that I'm somebody that constantly tries to do things within the entrepreneurial realm. I try to sell whether my designs on t-shirts or whatever it may be, electronics or whatever it may be, just to make a buck, right? um and so what I did was I understood the impact of how something that is mainly looked at in a negative way can be drawn out and can actually promote sales. So what I did was I posted some of the underwears as I posted one of the underwear as my DP, as my display pic on WhatsApp. Some persons went crazy. Persons are like, Javon, Christian, Javon, you put up underwear for your display pic? I was like, yeah. Yeah, they're on sale. And I told them the price for it, right? And so I placed it, and because of the responses, I placed it as my status after. And persons went nuts about it even more. This one person in particular messaged me. I don't think she was a Christian. Don't think she's a Christian. I hope she's a Christian now, or she's at least on her way, just the same. Really want you to be a Christian. So anyways, she's like, Christian, I don't remember exactly. So if the person is hearing this, don't say I'm telling a lie on here or anything like this, because I won't say a name or anything like that, but I'm just trying to remember it. It happened for a while back now. Like, she was like, Christian, I put up underwear. I put up Victoria's Secret. You promote sex now. I was like, I promote sex? I was like, how is it I'm promoting sex by putting up lingerie? But I was like, see what you're saying. Because I guess she's thinking about the fact that if somebody sees, if a partner sees, the person in the underwear, or lingeries are usually used mainly to stimulate the partner, something in some way or some sort, and I guess she was thinking about that part of it only, but not thinking about the fact that, hey, you have girls out there that just love to dress up and look nice to themselves. I have friends that they just like looking nice to themselves. Like, they don't even have a partner. And if they do have a partner, their mind is mostly on school, or I'm talking the females themselves. Their mind is mostly on school or on God too much for them to even be led astray by a certain partner. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I'm saying that's their mindset mostly, right? But at the same time, they like to look nice. They like to go in front of the mirror and look at themselves and say, hey girl, you look nice, Just like me sometimes. No, I'm not conceited. If you know me personally, you know I'm not conceited, right? But I've suffered with low self-esteem for so long that I've been empowered so much for me to go in front of the mirror and say, hey boy, youth, good, If I'm dressed in my suit and I'm looking nice, I'm going to tell myself that I look nice, because the possibility is that you might go on the road and you never hear it. Well, let it be that you hear it from yourself, if you understand what I'm saying, right? So anyways, she took it to that extent, and I was like, what? So because I'm a Christian, I can't do this or whatever? So I was just giving an example about, persons being misled by things that I might have posted in the past. So let me get back to this now. So I was like, when I responded, she said, so you're promoting unmarried sex now? And I was like, good morning. Because the person didn't say good morning. And if you know me personally again, then you know that I'm someone that loves to say good morning, good day, good afternoon, good night. Yes. Some of my friends say, you're extra, man, but yeah, that's just me. So anyways, I said that, and I said, I said, good morning. Only unmarried people have sex now, or have STDs or STIs, because I was trying to make it clear to her that, hey, to use a condom doesn't mean that you have to be unmarried, because you can be married and still use a condom, right? You can be married and still use a condom, because let's get it over with. The bottom line is that in our society today, you have a lot of persons that are unfaithful even within marriage, and it's not as if I'm promoting unfaithfulness within marriage, because I'm totally against it. If you know me personally, you know that I'm totally against it. If you understand my faith and my belief system, then you understand that I'm totally against it. I'm not with that. I'm not on par with it at all. But at the same time, you have to admit that it's actually happening in our society. We can't move away from that fact. It's a fact. It's a fact. Just the same. Just know it's a fact in our society today. In the 21st century, it's a fact. Persons are unfaithful. As a matter of fact, some persons are out there and they're speaking to their partners and they're like, babes, I'm gonna look it around the corner, you know. So just ease yourself. You alright? You have enough money? You good? She's like, go on. You understand what I mean? And she's like, yeah, go and do your thing. Because this shop is on lockdown. You know, this shop is on lockdown. I don't know why I'm saying locked down. But anyways, this shop is on lockdown. You know, and the husband will be like, alright, then I'm gone. Give her some money and I'm gone. Get me? Gone, look somebody else. We have to admit these things. These things aren't right, but it's happening in our society. So what I'm saying is this now. If it is that the partner went out there and he didn't use any condom, and for some reason, somehow, he got infected with HIV or any other STI or any STI or STD, really, right? And now he's coming back home and he's supposed to use no condoms with his wife, which may eventually end up in her being infected with the virus or disease as well, right? Then all persons would say at that point is, boy, I'm salty, man. But I'm gonna marry this man of a man. Our persons might just be there like, how am I get infected with this? Most men gonna think so me a cheat. Not realizing that, hey, you gave your husband permission to go out there and have sex with multiple persons. That's where the virus could have possibly come from, don't you think? Yeah, right? Let's move away from infidelity. The mere fact is that persons, as I mentioned before, that persons within my age group or even older, the virus has been on earth long enough for persons to be infected from birth, right? A cure, sorry, I just say core. The cure has not been created as yet, as far as I'm aware of, right? I can't speak to it being created and being anywhere else, but I can say to you that based on my knowledge and my understanding of whatever is happening, the cure has not been created as yet, right? Or has not been released as yet then, for all the conspiracy theorists out there. So I'm saying to you, if it is that somebody was born with the virus, are you then saying that that person isn't worthy of being married to somebody who is not infected with the virus? What if I decided that I want to be with somebody, a female that's infected with the virus or infected with the disease already, or with any other virus for that matter, right? That's not curable at this point in time. Is it that you're saying that I have to put my heart on pause and not speak to this person or not be with this person just because of the person's health status? Come on. If God forbid, or let me not say God forbid, because I'm already in the position of having sickle cell. Sickle cell is not something that can be transmitted the same way as HIV or AIDS. You know, it's not looked at as something as HIV or AIDS, but it's something that it's still a disease. If you understand what I mean? You know, but give me pain in the joint sometimes. You know, it has been a while since it affected me. But that's not the point. What I'm saying is this: to have a child for me right now, if I have 4 children, then at least one will have sickle cell, right? So for somebody to look at me and say, hey, Javon, I'm willing to be with you and I'm willing to marry you and I'm willing to have kids with you, even 4, and even if we have 4, and even if we have 4 and 3 of them are good and one has sickle cell, then we'll fight it together and we'll, whatever it may be. If the person is willing to do that for me, why can't I be willing to say, hey, you're infected? Alright then, let me think about it well enough. Because you have to think about it well enough. Let's think about how we're going to have kids, right? As I mentioned before, things have really progressed so much in the field of medicine that now you can actually be infected. No, a female can actually be infected, and the baby can be born as healthy as a horse. Yes, that's my analogy. I've heard it a lot. I'm just using it back. Do not repeat this. Alright, so the baby can be as healthy as a horse. The baby is breastfed and all that. You know, if the person is taking the medication as prescribed, whatever it may be. I'm not totally sure about all of that, but because I'm not a medical profession, right? Probably as it. Yeah. I've had so many persons calling me doctor since I've gotten this job, or even before. Who knows? Might be a doctor. All right, wake up, Javon. All right, let me go back to the point. So the thing is that, so I can be with somebody and have children, and the children are safe, are good, you know. And as it relates to me and her, our sexual relationship could simply be that we're using condoms, right? And if it is for her to get pregnant, then we can very well go to the doctor, and the doctor takes some samples of my sperms and injects it, or whatever the process might be, you know. So we have progressed so far in the field of medicine and all these things, and you're still telling me that a lot of us are out here thinking so backward that we're saying we can't be with somebody because of their status, we can't be with somebody because of this or because of that. Come on, come on, come on. This flesh, at the end of our life, it will be going back to the dirt, back to the earth. So we can't be out here discriminating or stigmatizing others and then attach our spiritual beliefs behind it as if God is for that stigmatization or discrimination. So I bring you back to the discussion that I was having with this person. And you've mentioned that, and you might have noticed that I've mentioned a lot of things that I didn't mention the person saying. But that's the reason why I went in that direction, was because of my recollection of what the person actually said. So the person was actually saying, if you're married, you're not supposed to use a condom in marriage. That's what the person said to me. I've never heard a married person with an STI before, unless the wife or husband are fool around. But the point is, condom is forbidden in marriage. That's what the person said to me. And it might have been the reason why a lot of persons reacted the way they reacted even before this person reacted with all of these messages, right? They might have been thinking to themselves, somebody who's married is supposed to use condoms, so it must be that he might talk to unmarried people. I was thinking to myself, hey, what in the world? If you're married, you're not supposed to use a condom. So I asked, and I mean, I liked her message a lot, you know, so I don't really want to read exactly everything I wrote, but I can give you, and let me just read it, because I know persons out there might be like, why you don't want to read your one kind of, you know, yeah, let me read it. So I was like, who declared that condoms were forbidden from marriage? Also, husbands and wives weren't born, that should have been born. I wrote bored. Let me blame autocorrect for that. Or can I? I don't know. I don't remember. So it's like husbands and wives weren't born together. When I said that, I meant, let me just read it first. Therefore, having sexual experience before marriage without the use of a condom is enough to get someone infected. In brackets, I have, if someone was already infected before being married, shouldn't they get married as well? Question. Close bracket. Also, what about persons that were born infected with HIV? Shouldn't they get married? That's a question. And that's a question to you as well. If someone was born infected, is it that their right to marriage is now revoked? Is it that it's now taken away from them because they're infected? You know, mind you, this infection wasn't something that they decided to go out and get. They were born with it. Some of them, right? And for those who went out and get it, whether they went out to a sex shop and get it, right? Whether they went out to a sex shop and get it, whether they interfered with somebody's marriage and go get it, whatever it might have been, is it that you're saying that grace doesn't cover them enough for them to say, all right, then, if they repent of that, get baptized, and filled with the Holy Spirit, then they're not forgiven of it. And so they should suffer for the rest of their lives regarding it. Come on. Come on, people. Come on. Come on. That thought, that opinion, I want for persons out there who might be infected or might just be in a situation similar to this. I want you to understand that this is not the thought process, or this is not the opinion of all persons within the Christian realm, because I'm not with it. I'm against that totally. It's foolishness. I can tell you straight up, it's foolishness. Let me proceed. So I said, who declared? Yeah, I read that already. So let me continue what the person said. The person said, sent LOL. I was laughing out loud. So I was like, is this person joking around with me? I was hoping that she was joking around with me, because I just couldn't believe that this person was actually saying this. I know it wasn't just her alone, because listen what she said after. You can't marry someone who has an STI. She gave the, you know, that laugh, if that emoji that you laugh and you can see tears coming from both eyes, to show you how funny it is. She was like, and it's a continuation of that. She said, are you insane? Question. Continuation of that. Continuation. You know, 3 dots that mean continuation. Yeah, I'm just breaking it down for you, because I don't want to show it. I don't want to show you the person's name or anything like that. So that's just it. Anyone who does that is hoping to get infected too. Continuation. Because maybe it's nice to be infected. Continuation. I don't know. Continuation. Would you get married to an infected person, Javan? That's a question for me. Then the person proceeded to say, I didn't. She did this in a line, so I didn't get the chance to answer until after she was finished talking. This was like, the church forbids that. Don't you attend the church no more? Question for me. So apparently I'm the one that doesn't attend church anymore, because my opinions are different. So in regards to the church forbids that, I replied to that statement specifically. I said, forbids what? Question. Being with someone infected? Question. Person then replied, forbids using condom in marriages. If you want to marry someone who is infected, then go ahead. Continuation. I replied then, are you being serious, or you're messing around, or you're messing with me? That was my question. As I said, I wanted to know if this person was actually joking or the person was actually serious. She was like, I'm serious. Because if you're talking as if nothing is wrong with being married to an infected person, that means you yourself would have done it. So then go ahead. Didn't really understand that part. I don't think she really explained it properly either. Anyways, I'll just continue. Because no one in their right mind would do that. Right. That's what the person said. No one in their right mind would do that. So I just gather that I'm not in my right mind.